welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships Live. I'm your host, Geovanna Burgess with my co-host.
Hello, I'm Yvette Valdenegro. Happy to be here. Love the music, love the intro, love the new way we're doing this, Geo.
Season 3 is just amazing. We're so excited. If this is the first time you're watching us or listening to us, welcome to our show. If you've been listening to us before, welcome to our show again, because we are on part 2 of our connection and collaboration mini-series. And today we're going to focus on connections. And we just want to thank everyone for the amazing feedback. I feel like the last month we did this huge series for boundaries, and it was well received. And we know what you want. We really do curate this for you. And so we're just appreciative that you've reached out. And so this mini-series speaks true to our heart because we are a relationship formed on connection and collaborations. And not only that, we are an amazing communities of women that connect and collab really on the daily and on the weekly. So we thought, why not bring this to you? If you missed last week, we did do the intro on kind of like the 4-part series on what you're going to see. You'll be seeing connections today. Next week, we'll go into collaborations. And then we're going to end with my favorite, networking.
Oh my God. Okay. And I said this on the last episode, but I'm going to say it again. I think one of the key things in this whole thing is the intertwined our story, because like you just said, we have built an entire business around first and foremost connection and then the collaboration side of it. But what I love too is that we're on completely different ends of the spectrum. So to our listeners, consider us like bookmarks. You're going to have one end that it is 100% ingrained in Geovanna's DNA to connect people, to see things in them that they don't even see, and to connect the right people. I am a learned connector. I love it. I have completely enjoyed it, but it was not part of my DNA until now. I've, in the past 5 years, have learned the importance of it. And then obviously we have gone through the ebbs and flows and the do's and the don'ts and the highs and the lows and all the amazing things that go with it. So I think it's great that our listeners are going to hear from completely 2 different sides of the thought process of what it is to connect, what it is to collab, and then the whole networking part of it, because no one's you, no one's me, but I think we represent all in between because we've been there, done that, and completely understand everything that goes into it. So I think this is going to be great.
I'm so excited. So we're going to kind of do like an overview of what a connection really is. I actually have another slide that I want to go through as well, because there's something about these both connections, collaborations, and networking that they have in common, and it's being genuine. And I really want people to understand there's, I can never say the word right. So authenticity. Oh, I said it right. Authenticity and being genuine when it comes to this. So if you're listening to us and you're like, oh my God, I love it. This is my language. I'm all about this. Great. And if you're listening to us or watching us and you're like, oh my God, I hate networking. I don't even like connecting with people. Can't even think about a collab. Or you're doing these connections, this networking and collabing for the wrong reasons, this series is for you. So connection. I'm just going to go with that today. A relationship in which a person, thing, or ideas are linked or associated with something else. Again, when we come up with these series, we really feed off of what our listeners or watchers want, even our clients. Relationships in there. We're relationship coaches. But I wanted to add a little bit more, and I'll do that with collaborations as well. Can I pull this off? Yes, let's do it. No?
Yes, girl, please, because my eyes that are older than yours are like, what?
Okay, hold on. My tech team here. Perfect. Great. So what is an authentic connection? An authentic connection is a genuine and real connection when someone else is present in the moment. We all wear masks and build facades to protect ourselves, but humans naturally crave interaction and connection with other humans. Showing vulnerability and sharing your true self with someone else starts with the ability to listen and sit in their space. In order for them to want to share their world with you, in the wise words of my superior, don't just say something to fill the space and ease the awkwardness you may perceive. Instead, sit there and just be with them. I just really, again, wanted to talk about, if you're going to take these times to do it and going to, put it in your schedule, it does need to be not only about you a little bit, but really about the other person. And This is one of my favorites. I'm going to just say this. Ways to begin creating an authentic connection include with another's emotion, showing interest, and deeply listening without motive. Okay, I'm going to let you sit with that because we do so much networking and because we are connectors. And like Yvette said, some of us have it naturally, some of us have to learn it, some of us absolutely hate it, but we crave it, we need it as humans. And if you're not genuine, two things are going to happen. People are going to see right through it, or you're really going to just be wasting your time and the other person's time. Because at the end of the day, it's a relationship. Connecting, collaborations, networking, those are all relationships. And there may be people out there that don't want to have it, don't want to do it. But if you're like, I need to do it to better my business, I need to do it for numbers, I need to do it because my boss is telling me, those are all the wrong reasons. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper and just share the definitions, but also just understand that you have to be genuine and you want to authentically connect. And sometimes you may not vibe and it may not be the right connection, but there's a purpose and there's a reason why you met that person because they may know someone or you may know someone that needs them down the line. So it's really, really important to the number one thing, listen. You gotta listen.
Okay. I want to describe the first time that we ever did anything, which I have to laugh, was a podcast, right? You invited me to be on your podcast, and I'd never done it before. I'd never even listen. I was 5 years ago. I was a lone island all by myself, building a business. I didn't connect with people. I kind of was prideful in the sense that I thought that was the great thing. Like, I don't need anybody. I just do it all myself. And actually the business model is kind of built on someone who does it by themselves. So a lot of that, unfortunately, which I'm sure people are going to relate to out there, is because when you get burned trying to connect and work with other people and it doesn't work, you quickly learn, I'm not really going to do that. I'm not opening up myself to, it's wasted time, energy, effort. What's the reason, right? But let's go back to the podcast. When you invited me to do the podcast, I'd never done it before. You did a great job of like introducing me to the whole concept, what to do, whatever. But that time was great. And then the time when you called me and asked me if I was interested in helping people find venues, for the people who had lost their venue, and we're not going to name the venue, but they'd lost their venue. And you said, hey, I'm trying to find all these people a place to have their wedding. So it's going to take the time to pick up the phone, call venues or whatever. That was when I said to myself, this person showed me first who they really were when we were doing the podcast. Now here's the second time that they're really showing me exactly what you just said, the authenticity of their true heart and who they are. And so that actually was the start of me opening up me to say, I trust this person. And I think that that's super important. And I wrote down trust and a shared purpose is a beautiful way to start a connection, because everything that you just said in the beginning, the ideas, the goals, opinions, backgrounds, and values, those are all going to fluctuate a little bit. Of course, we don't have exactly the same backgrounds. We don't have the exact same goals. We don't have that doesn't matter. But our shared purpose was to give back. So like you said, it was completely unselfish. And then our mutual trust for each other to work on a common goal that actually was for someone else. We didn't get anything out of it. Not one thing. Mainly you didn't get anything out of it. But all that makes for a great cocktail to enjoy at any time of the day. But I just think that that's such a great example. We lived it. It wasn't perfect, but we lived what we're now sharing with everybody else, because we know that it's really true. It's real. But I love the trust part of it. And I love the shared purpose and values. And I think that when you work in that realm, it's a win-win for everybody, mainly the people that you're going to serve.
And it all ties back to, before you can even do a collaboration or a partnership, however you want to look at that, you have to connect with people and you have to build genuine connections, but you're building a relationship and it takes time. And I know for those of you guys that know that Yvette and I were in the event and wedding industry for a really long time. We're now retired, but I would say the same thing. I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. When I first became a venue owner, I disconnected from the world because I was in a brand new like realm. I went from planning and being around all these people to owning a venue, and my role changed. And it wasn't until I got out of my comfort zone and went to connect and to network that I started to build a successful business. And, you know, your the way you reached out to me and your genuine connection to me also was the beginning of a beautiful relationship. But I opened up my eyes and my doors to other amazing vendors in the industry who without them, I would have not made it through, a pandemic. So, and trust me, and we're super honest here. We've always have been. We were burned. Her, I, me multiple times. And I could have just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to let people in. And instead I said, you know what, they just weren't the right partnership for me. They weren't the right collaboration. And, it was a hard time. And, I took things personally when I didn't really have to, when we didn't have the same purpose. And I learned from that. And that's really what it was. It had nothing to do with me, it had nothing to do with them. The situation just didn't go like it was supposed to. And that was one of those, I think, aha moments for me where like, those are things that are supposed to happen. It wasn't the ending that I wanted, but it opened up the door for other people for us to collaborate. And it still wasn't perfect. And I just, I want people to be open to, it's scary and it's not easy, but that's the only way you'll grow. We teach this to our clients, not just for their business, but just with their relationships in general. You have to get outside of that comfort zone and you have to go and test and try it to figure out what that perfect formula is for you. And so with this mini series, we really wanted to bring that because when we started this business as relationship coaches, although we're the only ones coaching, we have an amazing community of brand partners. And it started with connecting with these women, listening to what they do, actually watching them do what they do best. And now we have a beautiful partner page on our website that our clients can go use, even our people that aren't our clients, that we can say we trust them. We know their goals, we know what their purpose is, and we know how they serve the women that we connect and network with. And I think that, you and I have learned that from a different industry. And we said, how can we do that now? And same thing with other coaches. It's always about collaborating. It's never about competition because there are things that Yvette and I can't do. There are things that we're still learning in our business. And as we test and try something and it works, we spread that love and give it to the women in our community as well. So I'm just excited to see what like the rest of our connections and collaborations look like because it just keeps on growing and growing as we grow.
Yeah. And there's so much to these. This is just like the icing on the cake, right? Everything to do with connections. There's so much more that we love teaching and sharing and giving all the things away or whatever. But the other side of this is that not every single person you meet is a connection. Not every, yeah, it's an acquaintance. It's someone that you now know. You can say, hey, yeah, I know Joe, he sells whatever. Yeah, that's good knowledge. And it's good to know what other people do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be connected to every single person because like what we teach, there are amazing connections. There's ways to do the connections and there's ways not to do the connections. And you really have to figure that out. But if you're sitting there listening and you go, well, how do I even start to even think? One, trusted people, like you just said, the ideas, values, opinions, backgrounds, and values, just making sure that all that aligns, not perfectly, but at least, you're going to walk into something. You're like, okay, at least we're giving ourselves that chance. Right. But number one above that, there's got to be that shared vision and purpose, because then what are you collaborating? I mean, what are you connecting for? And not that a connection means that now you have to do a collaboration, but most connections are like, okay, we're connecting on this level. How can we help each other? How can we help our clients?
Yeah.
What's really going on? And then from there, do you realize, is this just an amazing connection with an amazing person? Or is there things that I would like to do to join with them to go into a collaboration?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, again, you need to know what your purpose is when you're starting to go out and put yourself out there. We will do a whole networking episode, but it is like what you need to have clarity around the why and your purpose. Again, if it's based on because you have to meet people, because you're pushing, your cards, because you have to hit a certain number, those motives aren't going to get you anywhere. But if you're genuinely, most women are just alone. They're alone. They feel like, oh my God, I'm doing this by myself.
Yeah.
I never have time to go meet people. You'd be surprised how many other women are in the same
way.
Same. It's the same. So, and then it's cross connections, because again, I meet people all the time, and my God, I would love to work and collab with everyone. It doesn't work that way, but the way I see it and the way my brain works is there's a reason why I'm meeting you, because either down the line someone's gonna need you, or I'm like, oh my God, I totally remember, or you're gonna invite me, you're gonna invite Yvette out to another event, and it just, again, it's this ripple effect of getting to know people, and they can share, they can do all the things, and then there's gonna be people, again, you don't vibe with. That's fine. We're not telling you to go and be friends with everyone and connect with everyone, but you do need to have clarity and purpose around why you're going out to connect. And next week when we come back, I'm going to share some like collabs. Right now we're going to talk about the present, and I want to bring up some really cool collaborations, not only people that are in the same industries, but even our collaborations with the women that we work with, and how easy it is to, again, when you have a purpose, when you have a goal and there's clarity, and you start to put yourself around and surround yourself with women that have the same purpose and goals, it's crazy what community can do. I mean, it really is. We are living, breathing women that we're so blessed to be able to be parts of communities who have helped us be where we are now. And we're so excited to share this with you so that you can also think that way and go, okay, how can I do that if it's for personal, like just to grow as a person and a woman, or how can I do that to really just help my business and grow my business when we say genuinely and authentically. So we're excited to have you. Yay. So we'll see you next week with our part 3 on collaborations. Oh, before we go, I always forget this. If you want to connect with us, please do. We have a link. I know you're like, if you want to hear more, you're not sure, connect with us. There is a link in our show notes, our bio, anywhere you're watching or listening, absolutely free. We do it virtually. And let us know what relationships we can help you with, or if you have questions around collaborations and connections, we are here for you. We are live every Wednesday, and we are brand new podcast every Friday on all podcast platforms. And if you're listening to us or watching us within this week and this month, it's almost 2023, and we always do a really fun episode at the end of the year. So make sure you subscribe and you're listening to us on all platforms. We will see you next week. Bye.